What's up, YouTube? This is Rob Guillory. Thank you for tuning in for the episode number 2 of the Rob Guillory podcast / YouTube show. I don't have an actual name for this yet. Maybe one day in the future I will work one out, but I have not gotten to it yet. If you tuned in for last week's episode, the goal of this podcast / YouTube show is to give insight into a rather strange industry. What industry am I talking about? Well, let me take a sip of my delicious coffee. Delicious. The industry I'm talking about is the comic book industry. It's a very odd industry. And I know this because I've been in the industry for a little over 15 years. And I've seen some stuff. And I've learned some stuff. So that's what this podcast is about. It's about giving you a front row seat into my work process. I draw stuff over there. So today I'll be drawing some more stuff today. And you get to tune in on that. Also, I tell stories about the things and the horrible mistakes I've made in my time in this industry. I've made those mistakes, so you don't have to. So let's just get right to it. Let's go ahead and let's go do some stuff over there. You can listen to me. I'm going to talk about some stuff. It'll be super fun. Email me, hit me in the comments section. Let me know what you're thinking about the podcast, future topics you want to talk about, questions you have. I especially want to hear from the young creators. Well, not even young. You can be old. I don't care. If you're making stuff, I want to hear about it. Maybe I can help. Any questions, struggles you're going through, let me know. But anyway, let's go over there and get some stuff done and get to it. All right, so in last week's video, I focused on my origin story. I talked about how I came to comics. I talked about some family background, and I basically just gave a general overview of my journey to becoming a comic creator. So this week, I'm gonna talk about something that's a pretty key practice in my career when I was starting out, but still today. And that practice is honesty. You've got to be honest with yourself, with your strengths and your weaknesses. This isn't always fun. This isn't always easy, but if you can't get an honest appraisal of where you are in your journey as a creative, you will not be able to strategize what the next steps on that journey are. So here's a story to illustrate my point. So back when I was first looking to break into comics, I thought the only way that I could break into comics would be to draw like a Marvel or DC artist. And really that made sense because, being a kid that grew up reading only Marvel and DC comics, I thought that comics look only one way. And that if I wanted to be a part of that family, of that comic community, then I would have to conform to what comics look like. And that's exactly what I tried to do. I tried to mimic the big muscles. I tried to do the dynamic poses. And I spent hours and hours upon hours drawing abs and assorted muscles that were somehow clearly visible through the clothing of whatever superhero I was trying to draw. I really, really tried as much as I could to get into that lane. And what I quickly learned is that was not my lane at all. I was really terrible at it. I was not at all cut out to be a traditional Marvel or DC artist. That was not my strength. And the more I tried to master that style of drawing, the more I felt like a round peg being stuffed into a square hole. It just was not a good fit. And really, it took the honest critique of a trusted friend who happened to be an artist to make me see that. This guy saw that what I was trying to do, he saw what I was trying to do, and he called a spade a spade. He looked at me and he said, it really just looks like you're mimicking the Marvel stuff and badly. You're not doing it well. This just doesn't feel like you. And he was right. And it hurt. I was actually pretty upset. But as much as I didn't want to hear it, something inside of me knew that he was 100% correct. Then he said something else. He pointed at some other work of mine, some cartoony stuff. It was stuff that I would just mess around with in my sketchbooks when I wasn't actively trying to be a wannabe Marvel artist. He said, this other stuff, this cartoony stuff that you're doing is really good. And I think that might be more up your alley. And it kind of took me aback because I was just screwing around in those cartoons. I wasn't breaking a sweat like I was when I was trying to be a Marvel or DC guy. I assumed, for whatever reason, that it was supposed to be hard. And that's what I always lean into. So then it occurred to me, what if this cartoony thing comes easy because it's my natural style? what if this is some sort of organic skill of mine? Or, what if I lean into that? What would happen then? And as I did, I learned that I was naturally good at drawing cartoons. And I was naturally good at storytelling. I naturally saw the world through the lens of story. I knew how to make characters act, and I knew how to make readers feel. And as I chipped away at page after page after page, I just realized this was my lane. I wasn't the best at it, whatever that even meant, because, best when it comes to art is totally subjective. Best is a moving target that you're never going to hit. What mattered to me was I was good at it. I was good at cartooning. I was competent. And competent is a really good foundation for a young artist to build a career upon. So what did I do? I started leaning into my strengths. I started leaning into my lane. So I just decided that if cartooning was going to be a good fit for me, I would become really, really good at it. So I drew hundreds of comic strips over the course of several years, and I immersed myself into the practice. I was pretty obsessed with it, to be honest with you. I just did it all the time. I didn't go out. I just stayed home and worked and worked and worked. And over time, I developed my own natural art style. People call it an art style. Really, I call it more of a visual vocabulary. I think that's more accurate. It's kind of like a handwriting. I've drawn this way for so long that I am honestly more comfortable drawing than I am writing with a pen. And I am dead serious. Whenever I have to sign a legal document or something, I always feel like I've forgotten how to just sign my freaking name. But I digress. So what am I saying? If I never acknowledged my obvious strengths and my very, very obvious weaknesses, I believe I probably would have spent most of my life trying to be something I wasn't. I would have become a mediocre comic artist, trying to squeeze into a mold that was just not built for me. Because I was able to be honest with myself, and because I was able to clearly see my strengths and weaknesses, I was able to give up chasing what would have been a dead-end path. It was going nowhere for me. So I was able to stop chasing that and start carving out my very own lane. So I created my own art style, and I guess sort of my own flavor of storytelling. And to this day, occasionally, random people will I'll see random people online referring to the Rob Guillory style, which is kind of cool. And over time, I've been able to carve out a very specific niche in the comics market. Because at the end of the day, no one does exactly what I do. And that's the beauty of every artist having their own thing. And that, there's a positive side of that. Folks seek me out looking to hire me because they want me to do exactly what I do. They know that I bring a very particular thing, and that's what they want. They want that thing. That is literally my business. But of course, there are negatives, and there's an opportunity cost. If someone wants me because I'm in the Rob Guillory lane, there are other people that are not gonna want me because I'm not in some other lane. I'm not like other artists, and they're gonna prefer other artists, and that's totally normal, and that's right. That's fine. So having a very specific style means you won't be offered every gig, but also it means that the gigs that you do get will probably be a better fit for you. But it all starts with an honest appraisal. Where are you in your creative journey? Where are your strengths? Where are your weaknesses? Where are you falling short? Again, this goes back to my first point. Be honest with yourself. And a big way to do that is portfolio reviews. I think portfolio reviews are a huge part of that. Getting an outsider perspective, their view on your work from working professionals can be life-changing. Now there's an art, of course, to knowing which criticisms to take to heart, but that's a whole bag of worms. I'll save that for a future video. The short version is, if you want to get better at your craft, you need to get around hardworking, talented people who will help you get an honest view of your work. And you need to listen. Don't be defensive. Do not get offended, even if they tear your work to shreds, which is completely normal. Because, here's a little, I think, what's a bit of a nugget here. Oftentimes, I have found that on the other side of a fence is wisdom and learning. Some of the very harshest portfolio reviews I've ever had were the ones that pushed me the most to become better. Absolutely, they hurt at the time, sure. But once I looked around my own, pain and offense and hurt feelings, I found gold in their criticisms. And I used those criticisms to get better at what I do. So if a portfolio review does not kill you, it will make you stronger if you let it. So just be honest with yourself. It's the first step on your creative journey. It's also the path forward as you mature and grow as an artist. But hey, that's just my 2 cents. Take it for what you will. I'm just a guy who draws pictures for a living, okay? And that concludes yet another episode of the Rob Guillory podcast / YouTube, whatever this is. I hope this was informative for you guys. Let me know. Again, hit me in the comments. I really want to hear from you. The direction of this show is largely going to be dictated by what serves you guys the most and what you enjoy the most. So let me know what you're thinking. Hit me again in the comments section. All the links are down there. Like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. I will see you next week with a brand new one. Peace out.